through and they have looked to see what's behind this. They see that it's an incredible story, nothing believable about the circumstances of his death. And so then they're warned by a Department of Defense contractor, and they say, someone in authority lied or made a shocking error. Shocking error? They say, there could be an innocent explanation for the hands, but it's as extraordinary as a conspiracy theory, and it's very suspicious. You don't say. You think there's an innocent explanation for somebody being found dead without his hands behind the wheels of a car? See, that's what bothers me about so much of this stuff. People can never bring themselves to question the official story, no matter how implausible it is. And if there are things that point to a government agency being involved in criminal actions, we're never allowed to go there. We have to kind of point to those things and say, well, gee, that's kind of suspicious, but maybe there's a plausible explanation for that. Stay with us. We're going to be right back taking your calls, and I want to tell you what else they found in this particular story. We'll be right back. Why did we invade Panama, according to him?
Every year we make resolutions to lose weight and get in shape. And the truth is, it's hard, even with diet and exercise, because of toxic food in our environment that is stressing our bodies more than ever before. Working with experts in nutrition and biochemistry, I found that super high-quality nutraceuticals, in addition to my diet and exercise, were the answers that synergistically worked. I could see the drastic changes every day with the amount of weight I've lost, my increased stamina, and more of a twinkle in my eye. That's why we are now so excited to launch the InfoWars Life Resolution Pack, combining 3 essential formulations: oxygen-based cleanser Oxy Powder, the Secret 12 bioavailable vitamin B12, and your choice of super female or super male vitality. Now all available at a discounted price to you and your family to bring in the new year and make 2015 a true success. That's InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. 2015 is the year to do it, and it all starts at InfoWarsLife.com. From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans live with pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape, but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA, the new InfoWars Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. InfoWarsLife.com. Check it out today. I have set out to bring you the most hardcore, cutting-edge supplements and nutraceuticals, bar none. And that's what you'll find at InfoWarsLife.com. We have rejected literally hundreds of products from the InfoWars Life line because they are not of the very highest quality, or because they're not 100% organic, or because they don't pass all of the strictest toxicology tests there are that we have listed at InfoWarsLife.com. Whether it's Survival Shield Nascent Iodine or DNA Force, Super Male Vitality, Super Female Vitality, Lung Cleanse, Fluoride Shield, Oxy Powder. I believe that all of these products will blow you away like they've done the thousands of other customers that have visited InfoWarsLife.com and believed in us and tried the products. Folks, check out InfoWarsLife.com today and the entire line of groundbreaking, cutting-edge, hardcore products.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put 2 and 2 together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled I-N-F-I-D-E-L, bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor just won't quit.
When When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in. No one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. Just one of the key compounds, BioPQQ, is backed by major clinical studies. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? We now have the synergistic solution. Secure your DNA force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
You've got it. This transmission is coming to you.
Waging war on corruption.
All right, you are go.
It's Alex Jones, coming to you live from the front lines of the InfoWar.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show on this Sunday, January the 18th, 2015. I'm David Knight, your host for the day. We're going to be taking your calls at 877-789-2539. That's 877-789-ALEX. I've been talking about the nexus of the CIA and Hollywood. That's going to be the topic we're going to explore. I'd like to take your calls if you've seen American Sniper or Selma, because those are two movies that I think are going to have a big effect on the way people view war, the way they view race relations here in America. And we've seen over and over again that Hollywood has an agenda that in many times is being informed and run by the CIA. In this particular case that we've been talking about, an exclusive from the Daily Mail, talking about a screenwriter who disappeared back in 1997. He was going to make his directorial debut. This is someone who had written movies like Dogs of War, Raw Deal, Time Cop, movies back in the 80s and 90s. He was a successful screenwriter in Hollywood, but he had another aspect to his life, and that was he was very closely linked with the CIA. And as he disappeared and was gone for about a year, when he surfaced, when they found his body, they found that there were a lot of things that were unusual about the way he died. They found him in a Los Angeles aqueduct, his car submerged. Now, to get there, he would have had to have been driving the wrong way for a couple of miles at night when there were no lights, with his lights turned off. His lights were turned off inside the car. They found him in a way that he did not drive. He was a long-distance truck driver. He never drove with a seatbelt, with his wallet in his back pocket. Both of those things were there. That was uncharacteristic. And, of course, the script that he had just finished and was coming back with, that was missing as well. But then the most amazing thing was that he apparently had been driving with no hands. Now, what he said he was working on was a movie that was going to show the real reason that we invaded Panama. And according to him, and according to the movie that he was going to direct, The Big Steal, it was done to cover up something of a bank robbery. Yeah, that's right, a bank robbery. Why would the American government stage an invasion to essentially do a bank robbery? Well, they didn't need the money. What they needed were the blackmail tapes that Noriega has. He says it sounds like the Pentagon planned the bank robbery and the war was just a diversion. His research for the end product included an article from London's now defunct Sunday Correspondent that alleged that dictator General Manuel Noriega had compiled a stash of sex tapes that featured top-ranking U.S. officials. Noriega, it says, was running honey traps, inviting diplomats and other government officials to his home, get them filled with drugs and alcohol, and then filming their antics. And after years of research, Dr. Alford, who is doing the film, says that this may have implied that the invasion was nothing more than a diversion that would allow the U.S. into Panama to steal back incriminating photos of senior U.S. officials that Noriega was blackmailing them with. Does that sound credible? It sounds credible to me. We've had a lot of accusations of that type of thing, not only from about CIA agents, but also about President George H.W. Bush as well. Now, the interesting thing about this is, according to his widow, she said that he got a lot of phone calls from the CIA, and when they first got married, he says, I'm going to be getting a lot of these phone calls, but don't pay any attention to them. She said in the month before he disappeared, he was getting them on a very frequent basis. And then after the guy disappeared, within a week, he was visited by not only the CIA, but the FBI, the NSA, and the Department of Defense. Now, that's kind of strange, isn't it, that you would get visitations from all of those types of people. But she said that she would find out that he would be traveling with the CIA on many of these trips that he was taking. A lot of times he would say that he was just going to research shooting locations, but she said she's found out that he wasn't with the crews that he said he was. And it's been substantiated now by people who were in the Bush White House that, yes, he was in fact traveling not only with the CIA on special ops, but also going to Panama. This is an amazing story. But it's not something that we haven't seen before. When we saw the Michael Hastings car crash, immediately there were many things about the crash itself that didn't add up. And then as time went by, you start seeing all of these other things that are happening as part of the backstory. And of course, we know that the government is perfectly capable of assassinating people. As a matter of fact, we just saw that with the Sony interview, we just saw that we had the Rand Corporation consultant as well as the State Department signing off on this quote-unquote comedy that was really a piece of propaganda, saying, yeah, it's kind of over the top the way that you kill the North Korean leader, but I think we need to plant that idea in people's minds. The sooner the better. They need to understand that we need regime change, and the only way that we're going to get it is with assassination. And, of course, all the DVDs that are going to find their way into South Korea are eventually going to start filtering into the North, so people can get that idea as well. See, we're putting up with a criminal element in our government that basically doesn't believe it has any restrictions on itself. What a perfect way to control everything. If you can create a secret organization within a very powerful government and say that, well, because of state security, we can't tell you anything that we're going to do, if that didn't corrupt the people in and of itself, criminals could easily infiltrate that and take that organization over. That's why we can't have a secret government. And of course, everything the government does in every aspect now has become secret. Our lives are to be an open book to the federal government, but nothing that they do, whether it's the CIA or somebody that is just running an airport, nothing that they do is available for us to see what they're doing. See, it's completely the other way. To underscore that, these documents that came out from Der Spiegel, some new Snowden documents, point out that the NSA is developing cyber weapons with an attacker mindset for domination in the digital war. They say that mass surveillance was apparently just the beginning. The agency is now preparing for future wars in cyberspace in which control over the internet and rival networks will be the key to victory. And these are some new Snowden documents that were released to the German paper Der Spiegel. They say mass surveillance of the NSA was labeled in these documents as Phase 0 in America's digital war strategy, intended to detect vulnerabilities in enemy systems so that, quote, stealthy implants could infiltrate the systems and allow, quote, permanent access. Phase 3 is labeled Dominate, where the agency will control and destroy critical systems and networks with pre-positioned access that they did in Phase 0 and use real-time escalation. So this is what they've got in store for us as they go on and point out in the article from Der Spiegel. They talk about them as being the D weapons. Of course, we usually talk about NBC, nuclear, biological, and chemical. In Germany, they're calling it the atomic, biological, and chemical. So that's ABC, and then D is digital. I guess if we go to E, I guess that would be environmental weapons, like climate control, something like that. At that point, we are truly effed, I guess. But A, B, C, and now D weapons, where they're coming after everything we do. They say it's no coincidence that the director of the NSA also serves as the head of Cyber Command. And they point out that intelligence agencies have adopted plausible deniability so that they can do all this stuff without ever being caught. But somebody has blown the whistle on some of their operations, and we're going to tell you about that, not just Snowden, but about assassination. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Another major health threat, this one in Toledo, Ohio, where everybody in the entire city has been told not to drink the water.
Ohio's governor declaring a state of emergency.
Did you know that the average person uses about 80 to 100 gallons of water at home every single day? If there's a water emergency, will you be prepared?
Panicked residents forming long lines throughout the day.
We're here at a supermarket in Toledo. You can see the shelves empty where water once was.
To stay safe and healthy during a crisis, you must have access to safe, clean water. Water which will not be available at your local grocery store.
There's a mad dash on right now to stock up on supplies.
The ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system is a must-have for every modern, independently minded household. Protect your family's safety during an emergency.